Okay, we've got our MIDI for software open, and we want to create some patches and load them onto the accordion. Now, we'll go to Performance, we'll go to Patch, and you'll see these patches are blank. There's no values defined, no program numbers, a blank slate. We could either start with a blank slate. Takes a little more time in some ways. You have to get familiar with the different values and what they're doing. I think to begin with, it's a little easier to start with an existing patch. So first things, let's go up to Patch Options, and we're going to import some patches. Let's import patches 0 through 10, and this would be in whatever folder we look in. So we're going to look through a folder and capture the 10 patches in that folder. If there's 10 patches in that folder, it will capture them. So we'll hit OK. And now we're browsing here. You can see my last location was F drive. In my case, I know F drive is my flash card reader, but I could also look on my hard drive if I had it saved there. I can go up to desktop and Limex and G5 card, and I know I have copies of the patches there too. So here I see various folders, subfolders within the patch folder. But let's say we didn't have anything already saved on the computer. We can certainly go back to the card. I'm just showing you the way around the location here. And in my case, it's F drive. It may be different depending on how many thumb drives you have. So we'll go to, in my case, F drive, down to the patch folder, and we're going to copy some patches from folder 0. So we'll hit OK after we've selected our folder. Now we've imported the 10 patches in that folder. You can see right here in the lower left, we're loaded up to patch 10. We can back and see the names change over here. So we've imported something that we can manipulate and edit to be what we want for our custom patches. One thing of note, you'll see when we imported, we just have the numbers here. Unless we define which sound module we're using, we'll only see the program number. So we're going to go up to Patch Options. We're going to drop down to Sound Module. And in our case, we're using the G5 sound module. So we're going to click the sound list, and we're going to scroll all the way down to the G5 sound module and hit OK. What that's going to do is load in the banks to the software, so it knows what instruments are there in addition to the program number. So it certainly helps navigating around. And also when we click on the instrument, it brings up the various banks and groups and programs within that group. We'll cancel this. All right, let's go to patch 1 or 0. Let's go to patch 0. And we want to first create a copy. Or we could edit this because we can load it into a different folder. If we were loading into the same folder, you can either edit it and override it. The sky's really the limit. You just want to make sure that you know what you're doing before you load patches in. And that's all going to be based on the location you're putting the patches into, which folder. We could copy all of these patches and put them in a different folder. But for now, let's create a patch. We'll call it Jazz Piano. Okay, we have Jazz Piano. patch 0. And remember, this patch 0 would be within that folder. You'll notice that there are 4 variations: S1, S2, S3, and S4. And while those don't change the instruments that are assigned to their respective channels, you can turn those channels on and off and create different variations for your song. So if we select 1, you'll see that channels 1 and 2 are on, while if we press the second variation, we'll see channels 1 and 2 are in fact off. These correspond to the buttons on the MC11. So we've created a patch name, Jazz Piano. Let's go up to the program. We'll select the instrument. In this case, bank 0 for the G5. We'll select grand piano. Let's turn that channel on. We'll turn the rest off, and we'll turn bass. Don't forget this window does go over further to show our rhythms. On the chord, let's put go back to our general MIDI bank, guitar. Let's put a clean guitar. And for a bass, let's put a nice picked bass. Okay. So let's say we have our patch done. Everything is to our liking. We'll then go to patch options and drop down to export. And let's say in this case we just want patch 0 that we just made. Overwrite prompt would simply notify you if the folder you were saving this patch to had an identical patch. It would warn you so that you don't overwrite something accidentally. We'll select OK, and we'll see this browse folder will open up the previous location, in this case where we imported the files from, and we imported from this folder easy. But let's, because we're making our own special group of patches, and I know that folder 7 for favorites is already blank, we can save it in folder 7, and we'll select OK. It already exists. Okay, there's our warning. Overwrite. Let's say no. Let us minimize our program. Yeah, it's not letting us do that. We'll put it to the side here. I hit Windows Explorer, the Windows and the E key. I just want to go to the patch folder. Maybe I already saved something in there. I just want to see what's, yes, I already created that. So that's why we got the prompt. Hey, do you really want to override this? So let's say we wanted to call it jazz saxophone, jazz sax. We'll hit patch options and export. And we already know that patch 0 within that folder exists. Now, just because this says patch 0 doesn't mean that's where we're writing it to. So within that folder, patch 0 already existed, but patch 1 doesn't. So we'll put our target as patch 1 and try it again. So our patches, this is our range, and this is where we're our target, where we're copying it to. We'll select favorites folder and hit OK. And it should have saved it. Now, if we go back to our Explorer, we see it loaded it and it copied it and put it as patch 01. Now from here, you would simply eject the card, put it into the accordion, and then you would press the patch button for several seconds on the accordion screen, and then the SL load button for several seconds, and then it should load in the new information from the card onto the system so it knows what to do, what the mapping is. And the new patch should be on your accordion.